fair warning, I am not a developer. I have always been developer adjacent. I've always helped developer teams. I've been the PM, I've been the product manager, program manager of developers. And I wanted to give a talk to talk about creativity. So it's a little different. We're not going to talk code. This is going to be quick. We're not going to talk super heavy, but I thought this would be interesting because I want to spark creativity in everyone in what we do. And how many have seen an ice sculpture in person? So when I was in college in Chicago, I worked for a place called Nadeau's, which is the oldest ice house in the country. So I was delivering ice sculptures all over Chicago. Any private dining club in the Sears Tower, I'm not calling it Willis, I don't care what, they renamed it. It's Sears Tower to me and always will be. Private dining clubs, places that I had no business going to at 19, 20 years old. I got to go delivering ice sculptures. And it's funny because I learned a lot throughout that experience. And I see a lot of things that I've learned that I can apply to my life now. So I asked, I'm trying to remember if it was Perplexity or ChatGPT, about what would the ice block be? So an ice sculpture, bottom line, it's just a bunch of water, right? These blocks are heavy. And I think that's why when I was in my 40s, I eventually tore my bicep tendon from all the lifting of these things in my 20s. But if we compare it to like an LLM, an ice sculpture is just a bunch of water. What's an LLM? There's data in there, but it's just data, right? In its raw form, it's just data, right? And so we're going to look at kind of how that compares to like ice sculptures to what we're doing AI. Next, please. Okay. So your data starts off as a giant hunk, just stuff there, sorted, unsorted. What is it? Where does it live? What does it do? It's just there, right? But the block is the foundation full of potential, right? When it comes to an ice sculpture. So as you can see here, he's just there picking off and just starting to chip away, right? And the same thing is what happens with Famata in your data set. You start chipping away, right? Like his example we just gave here, it's like, oh, I don't know Capital France. Psh, I don't need that. Literally with the ice sculpture, oh, that's a chunk I don't need. That's not going to look like a swan if I have that there. Let's get rid of it. It's the same kind of experience. We're just getting rid of something you don't need. Next. So I like my little SQL block of ice there. I'm glad they have the insert, update, and the where statements. But let's talk about the carver's vision and the business use case. So you have to have a use case. What are you doing? Are you doing this because you're going to automate the workflow, right, and save time and processes? Are you doing it because someone says, hey, we've got all this information. Let's find ways to make sure people can quickly find things. What's the ROI? What's measurable about this? The same thing happens with an ice sculpture, believe it or not. And funny enough, this one single line is what makes a lot of money in an ice sculpture world. I want this to be better than my cousin's wedding. That's how they measure that. Sometimes at the ice sculpture, it's like, oh, Susie's wedding had that. I'm going to do something bigger and better. And at the ice house, we're going ka-ching, right? But they had a way of measuring that because they were looking at it going, oh, I want this bigger, better thing. And with what we're doing, we have business use cases. We're measuring what we're doing. It has a purpose. So as you can see, they're chiseling and picking away, right? So the blocks at times are 600 pounds when they start. And then when they whittle down, they can get down to like 150 pounds, sometimes 200, depending what you're doing, sometimes even more or less, right? So when you start exploring the model, you decide what you're training, what you're going to do, what it is and what it's not. And when you're looking at what you're doing with the ice sculpture, you're going to figure out, this is for a wedding. This is what I want this to look like. This is what I don't want it to look like. That's what we're doing in the UI UX world, believe it or not, right? Because we're going, I need to have this input. I want it to look like this. I want the results to look like that. Kind of what we're doing, right? So here's the funny thing about language models, right? I always laugh because they're always like, oh, it's a large language model. And there's small language models. I wish they had figured out that term before, where because everything that's a large language model makes no sense to me, because we know that's not true. There's small language models, but it's still an LLM, right? But they have different size and based on your need. Believe it or not, there's a machine that's called a CNC machine that drills ice. It could drill pieces of wood, but they use it for ice. So there are weddings where you'll get a piece of sorbet on an ice sculpture, very small, the palm of your hand, right? And then you got this big ass guy here. I've had to carry those with there was like 5 or 6 of us. And those drones are very heavy. They're very hard to put together. We would literally, like a little secret, these little pieces here, we take a saw and slap them on, put ice, and then let nature do its thing to put it together. But they had different sizes. Same thing with what you're doing with the LLMs. So, bottom line here, I want you to keep being creative, right? Just like in the ice sculpture world, there's creativity. I hate to say this, but no one's going to fly to France to look at your React code, right? Like they would, like they go to the Louvre and they see a piece of art. But that doesn't mean it's not as special. There's creativity in what we do. There's artistry to what we do. There's a science to what we do. There's something special about what you create. Because one day you sat down and you said, I'm going to solve this problem. And you came up with a creative way of solving that, right? Keep creating. Keep being creative. Keep finding new ways to do things. Because the problems are going to keep coming up, and we're going to have to keep finding new ways to solve these problems. So we're going to have to continually be creative. I don't know how we're going to solve the problems of tomorrow, right? All I know is what we have, the BS we're dealing with today in our technology world. And so a month from now, you may have to be creative in a different way to solve these problems. Find your creative voice. Find a way that you can make it special and do what you do. Because all of you, believe it or not, you're creative. You may not think of it as creative because no one's going to go, oh, that was beautiful. Let me frame that. Let me put that on the fridge. Remember when your mom would go in and put it in the fridge? No one put your hello world on the fridge, unfortunately. But it's special. It's creative. And my call to you today is keep being creative. Keep making. Keep doing. Keep building. Because the solutions of the future are going to need creativity. We are going to need that as we build the next solutions, as we build whatever is next. We don't know what's next, but I'm sure as hell going to believe that there's creativity behind that. There's artistry to it. Keep building. And I already said it before, and I'll say it again. We don't need Silicon Valley. Our startups are coming here because we are creating things here. We've got Pendo, we've had Red Hat, they were startups. I can guarantee you somewhere down the line, the next tower, the next SaaS tower is going to come from somehow connections here or something in the triangle from the creativity we're doing. So please keep being creative. I don't have any code to share with you. I don't have a GitHub to share with you, but that's just my plea. Keep being creative. Keep building, keep doing, and let's show the world what Raleigh has.